Oh, they jumping in here, Coach. They jumping in here.
Yeah. Hey, we ain't got none of that sweet music.
Yeah, Coach. He said we going hard. No music. We coming straight out the gate for first week.
Oh, I see.
One more, guys. One more. Give them time.
All right.
Hey, Rocky, you can hear us, right?
Rocky.
Yeah, what up, Coach?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, we were saying we don't hear the music.
Oh, y'all don't hear the music? Hold on.
Nah.
Hold on, then. I gotta get it right. Then I must be doing something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank y'all, man. I had this thing all messed up.
Still don't hear it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Hold on.
It's always good when you got the answer.
Yeah. I know what the answer is.
So y'all have dug up some good information.
Coach, you know, this is a HBCU Coaches Corner with Coach Cole. gotta have your play sheet right, Coach, so you can call the right play tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Coach. That's right.
Hey, you gonna call that triple reverse, Coach?
Oh, hey, Coach. Hey, when you got them backed up, you got them on the heels, Coach. You got to put that dagger in them.
Well, you say you keep pressing on that now. Let me see it now.
There we go.
You hear it? Oh, yeah. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully y'all can hear me good, too, at the same time. One more. Because they're coming in here, the numbers keep going. I want to thank everybody for joining in this evening. Thank everybody for joining in. If you're on off script, don't forget to join our channel, Rocky Miller. I'll put the link here shortly. I'd like to welcome everybody to HBCU Coaches Corner. My name is Rocky, and I have my co-host with me, Mr. Stephen Campbell, the Rattler himself, the Bishop, the Detective. He got so many titles around here, I don't know what to do. And the man you came to see, the SWAC legend himself, the 2010 SWAC champion, none other than Johnny Cole. How you doing, Coach?
Good. Hey, man, you can pick your check up. I mailed it the other day, so it must have got there. Hey, man, appreciate it, man. You know, it's always great to come in and see your dream come true, and you guys are making it happen for me, at least. You know, it ain't about the monetary value. I think I want to leave something with HBCU football because they gave me an opportunity to get in this business of coaching. Also, being able to have a college degree. So, man, I'm glad. I'm always happy on this Tuesday to get here and sit down with you guys and let's talk some football.
We got a special treat for you today. I know that a lot of teams are going to be struggling this year, Coach. You know, everybody's not going to win, Coach. You do know that, right? Everybody's not going to win.
Without a doubt.
Some people are going to have to. Some people didn't take this off season and improve their situation and their circumstance. Some people ended up in a situation where they're worse off than they were last year. And for those people, we have a special treat for you guys tonight. And I'd like to turn over the show to the Bishop, and that's Bishop Campbell at this time.
Now, Coach, you know this is HBCU Coaches Corner with Johnny Cole. But, Coach, I know you being a championship coach, I know one thing. Before you got your team out there on the field, you always gave them a prayer, a word of motivation. So, Coach, every week, you know we have people that watch our show that actually contact the Bishop. So we're going to have our HBCU prayer line before we start the show from the people that have called. Now, we're not going to tell their names. You know, we were telling, you know, like the Calvin, you listen like a fest. I'm not going to say who it is. Right. But I got 5 prayers that I'm going to say for these people. So, Coach, we're going to start with number 1. The first prayer, we're going to say prayer for all these people that are giving bad predictions and hope that they halfway come true. Because we've heard more predictions in these last 2 weeks from people that ain't watched a bit of football or play John Madden. They clearly don't know what they're talking about. That's number right. 2, Coach, we had a coach, Bo McDowell on, and those Prairie View Panthers are very excited, Coach. So I pray that Prairie View actually has to see that all their fans are saying they're going to have. Because if they don't, we won't hear from them for the next 20 years like we didn't hear from them for the last 20 years. So we're going to pray for them, Coach. We're going to pray for them.
That's right. That's right.
Now, the third prayer I'm going to say a prayer to is going to be for my former AD, OBG. I'm going to pray that she stop doing thirst trap pictures, update her resume, and get a job that she's actually qualified for. I'm saying a prayer for her, Coach, because I don't want nobody to be unemployed. You know what I mean? Plus, right. Don't call me borrowing no money because I ain't got no money for you.
That's right.
Now, Coach, and you can understand this because we talked to a lot of new coaches. I am saying a prayer for all the new coaches to start at least 1-0. Because, Coach, you know they don't start 1-0 and they go 0-1. They already go talk about let's fire them after week 2. You already know that, right, Coach?
Right.
And then, and then, Coach, the last thing, number 5, and this is a prayer that I'm sending all right to the Rattlers. Please come to Atlanta and win that game by at least 14 points. Because anything else, we're going to cut holy hell on this show from these Rattlers and all these people talking about they're going to put dirt on our grave. So I am praying, Coach, that when we look up at that scoreboard, we at least will have won by at least 14 points. And that still won't be enough for some people, Coach. So that's the prayer line for today, Coach. That's the prayer line. 5 prayers.
That's a good prayer line because unfortunately, 75% of all head coaches are losers. Unfortunately, you know, and there's only certain guys who got it. You know what I'm saying? And some guys walk into good situations, you know. But man, I'm for it. I'm gonna go find me a couple of them that we need to pray for as well.
Coach, you know, pass along, Coach, and tell them that tell them we're not going to reveal their name, but if they want us to do a prayer for them, we'll take a prayer. Now, Coach, I do want to say it now, and we are joking, but we are very serious here. I see in the chat. They said there's a coach from Langston that apparently has passed away. So, Coach, did you know anything about this that they're talking about in the chat?
I didn't see the chat from Langston.
Okay, yeah, from Langston. So we definitely, like I say, this is HBCU Coaches Corner. So please tell us the name of that coach because Coach Cole might know that coach, and like I said, we always want to, like I say, support and prayers to that coach's family. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. All right, Rocky. We done said our prayer. Now we can get back to the coach's corner now. Let Coach start calling the plays.
Yeah. I just went and done the search. It looks like that coach was Coach Daryl Mason, the offensive coordinator, suddenly passed away.
Oh, wow.
On August the 17th. So
okay.
Prayers with him and his family, the HBCU family. Please pray for him. If you guys know him or know his family, please send our condolences because when this is it's a terrible time in their family, and I pray for their strength as we get ready for this football season. That's awful. With no further ado, Coach, something we gotta address. And this is something that came across my desk. And let me see. Hopefully you guys can see it. If not, we'll this came across my desk. If you guys can't see it, I don't know. I can't zoom it in, but I'll read it off for you guys. And I'll just go over the rankings. I'll read the rankings to you. Because I think this is worthy of taking a look at. Now, this is from the dean of HBCU media. This is Dr. Cavill's HBCU Sports Lab poll, and I'll read it from 1. We'll go through the top 10 first. He has North Carolina Central at number 1. The Rattlers from Florida A&M 2. Number 3 comes in number 3 is Jackson State. Number 4 is the Howard Bisons. Number 5, Alabama State Hornets. Number 6, Morgan State Bears. Number 7, the South Carolina State Bulldogs. Coming in at number 8, the Prairie View A&M Panthers. And number 9, inexplicably, indubitably, the Alabama A&M Braves. And number 10, the Alcorn State Braves.
Yeah, number 9 is Alabama A&M Bulldogs.
Yeah. I got.
Yeah,
they was in the wrong spot, so I read it wrong. So Alabama State Bulldogs. So let me say this, Coach. That's the top 10, and I'll just call the rest of it out. Number 11 is Tennessee State. Number 12 is Grambling. Number 13, Norfolk State. Number 14, Bethune-Cookman. Number 15, Southern. Number 16, Hampton. Number 17, Texas Southern. Number 18, UAPB. Number 19, Mississippi Valley. Number 20, North Carolina A&T. And number 21, Delaware State. So that's the Division I on the Division I side. And that's the one I really wanted to take a look at and see. I see one thing that's glaring to me. What does Dr. Cavill know about Alabama A&M that we don't know?
Wow. I don't know. I know Dr. Cavill personally. He's a very smart man. I guess he academically put some numbers in and came up with some things, but definitely has some questions about that. And rankings are like opinions. Everybody have one, So there's definitely some arguing about that list or some discussion about that list. I see Alabama way, Alabama A&M up in the hunt of it. Put that list back up for a minute, Coach.
Okay. The other thing that kind of puzzles me, Coach Cole, is that he has North Carolina A&T below Mississippi Valley.
Way down there. Yeah. Yeah.
Talking about setting the bar low.
Yeah. Well, most definitely. I get it. Delaware State's down there and Mississippi Valley, but I just can't buy that North Carolina A&T ain't got somebody. Of course, they playing in a different league than all these other schools, because I've been coached at Tennessee State when we was in the Ohio Valley Conference. And for some reason, the white schools do have or have had success on most black schools. But that makes you even better. I see Tennessee State sitting there at number 11. I mean, his best year has been just 6-5?
Mm-hmm.
So they got them up there right in the middle. So why not North Carolina A&T just a little higher?
Bishop Campbell, what do you know about Alabama A&M? I sent a text out to my homeboy, Dr. Cavill, and yeah, he is my real homeboy. Me and him are both from East Waco, Texas, so that is my homeboy. And so what I asked him was, what does he know about the HBCUs? What he knows about Alabama A&M that the rest of the HBCU media doesn't know? And he read it, and he left me on red, so he didn't share it with me. Whatever he knows, he didn't share it with me. And so, hey, guys out there in the chat, if you know something about Alabama A&M that the rest of us don't know, please share it with us, because I have them nowhere near the top 10 in my personal rankings. And I'm interested to hear what the Bishop has to say about them.
Well, I am on record, and I have a bet with a Alabama A&M alumnus, Jay White, that I've already told him they only win 2 SWAC games. And they only win 4 total. So for Dr. Cavill to have them ahead of Alcorn, which is predicted by the SWAC to win the West, predicted by you all, the Coaches Corner, to win the West, for him to have them, then listen, he must really know something. Now, Coach, you know, we do a lot of research. We've looked at depth charts. We've looked at quarterback starting. And, Coach, you being an offensive guru, I don't see anything that has said that this team has improved to the point where they will be ahead of all. Think about this now, Coach. They've got them ahead of Alcorn, ahead of Grambling, and ahead of Bethune-Cookman. And I think we all agree.
They're ahead of Southern, too, isn't
it? And ahead of Southern. So the fact that if we put the list of the 12 teams, I would dare say at best they would be 8. At best, we probably could name 8 teams ahead of them that we've talked about. So, you know, I'm bewildered by this when I saw this, because there's no way I'm not a believer in Alabama A&M. And like I say, great people. But like I say, I could just quickly just go over the loss. Alabama State's going to beat them. FAMU's going to beat them. I think they play. You know what? Let Rocky pull up this schedule.
Yeah, I'll do that right now. Just give me a second to get to it, because that's.
Well, we just put 4 teams ahead of them just then.
So
they go from 9 to 13. So that's what I like it.
So that's the thing, and this is what I love. You know, again, what's respect to Dr. Cavill. Like I say, has been doing this a long time. He'd already said since 2002, 20 years ago. But, Coach, I don't know. I think, Coach, this might have been a typo. I think he didn't mean to put him at 9. I think he meant to put him at 19.
He must have got sleepy right in the middle of that. And
I think he got confused with that.
Yeah, he might have thought it was Alabama State.
It had to be. It had to be, Coach. It had to be. And let's talk about this though, Coach. While Rocky's pulling it up, how far has the 4-time Celebration Bowl champ North Carolina A&T fallen that he has got them at number 19 out of 20, Coach?
Yeah, that's that's crazy. But what he's judging them on, evidently he's not judging them on their schedule, because the people they play definitely can be probably in the top 10 in our conference.
Right.
So even though they might show up with a bad record, but they playing good teams and good football. So it's kind of unfair to A&T.
And I see Bfield 1914 said Tuesday, talking about stop. We getting ready to show you. I want you to tell me what games other than Mississippi Valley, and I think that got them beating Arkansas Pine Bluff, that they're going to be favored to win.
Well, Coach, I see they open up with the Auburn Tigers. You think they have a chance at upsetting them?
Oof. Oof.
So get on back to Huntsville.
So hopefully it ain't too long of a drive. Hopefully it ain't too long of a drive. And includes an overnight stay and a good meal in Auburn at least. Then we got Kentucky State at home. I think they'll probably pull that one out.
Yeah.
What about Georgetown, Kentucky? I never heard of them.
They'll beat them.
Yeah, they'll beat them.
Now, Austin Peay. Austin Peay.
They'll lose it.
They're going to lose that one.
They're going to lose that one.
And I'll let you answer this one, Steve.
Listen, do you know my nephew, Zoe Phillips, and check him out. They got a new show coming out. My nephew from Jack State told me that he has been his aunt all his postal paychecks that we're going to lose this game. Is he crazy? I'm going to use that to buy me another Escalade, all the money I'm about to win off that game right there. Because I need a new one. So I'm going to use that. So FAMU definitely. FAMU by 30 on that game.
So, yeah. So,
then they come back with Jackson State.
And like I think we talked about this. They got Florida A&M, Jackson State, in between.
Lost.
That's a triple L is what they call that.
And they play what they play Bethune-Cookman at. They play them in Daytona, right?
No, they play them in
Huntsville.
Huntsville. That is the game that they got to get for me to lose my bet. And I'm sorry, I think Bethune-Cookman has a team that is going to scare a lot of people. And I think they are ready, and I think this is going to be one of those games that Bethune-Cookman wins. So I got that as a loss.
And then we got Alabama State.
Come on, man. That might be the U-Haul game right there, Coach.
Coach, so you said the Magic City Classic. Matter of fact, you're saying that Coach Maynard may not even make it to the Southern game, huh?
I think the U-Haul is going to be right down there. Coach, you know, I know you, Coach, you've been down there. You know that. You know, right when you come up there to the stadium, that little back road, when you come, because, you know, because a lot of people don't know, it's not, that stadium does not sit off the highway. It's like in the neighborhood.
Right, it's in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. So, Coach, they're going to have that U-Haul on that little street where that old lady had a house selling them fish plates, and they can just take his stuff right on out there. Now, look at this.
When he walk out the locker room after the game, they're gonna say the police car right there. They're gonna go escort you back to the building. Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one.
Look at it.
Now, Mr. Campbell, do they have a chance at going undefeated in November?
Hold on, let's get back to SU. Where's that game at, Rocky? That game is where?
In Bama. In old Bama.
In Alabama. I'm still gonna go with the band school because the band school got something to prove. Because they came to Alabama last year and lost to Alabama State. They can't just keep going to Alabama lose. So I'm going with the band school on that game.
Hey, Coach. Unless if there's a reschedule, Coach, you might get that one. That Southern Alabama A&M game, Coach.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. With HBCU go, I might step in on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we got the bottom of the barrel coming up the rear, and they have Arkansas Pine Bluff.
They'll win that game.
And Mississippi Valley.
Now, so I'm gonna ask the people to check. You tell me where you see 3 wins at.
Is in
the SWAC
Valley and Itabena. I think that's how you pronounce it.
I got that game. I got that game.
You have that game, Coach?
Yep. I have the toilet bowl. Yep, I got that game. I'll be the announcer for that Mississippi Valley and Alabama.
And that's gonna be on the griot, looks like. That's gonna be on the griot. All right, Coach. That's a nationally televised game.
Coach, you better have your notes together and be able to see, Coach, that's gonna be one of them games you have to tell a lot of stories. Because that's gonna be one of those, it's gonna be almost like a baseball game. Coach, you got to tell them stories about Valley and how they used to be with Jerry Rice and Willie Totten and the gunslinger on that one, Coach.
Hey, Coach. I'm pretty sure we're gonna hear about those 6 touchdowns when Jerry Rice was playing for Mississippi Valley and you were playing for TSU. I'm sure those 6 touchdowns. You gonna tell it.
Yeah. Hey, and Willie threw 8, so it was a bomb burner. You know, that game lasts over 3 hours.
What the defenses got left on the bus? What happened?
Oh man, hey, they didn't even have to come out after halftime. They didn't have to come out. Man, it was up and down the field. I mean, you know, after that game, me and Willie just hugged each other in the middle of the field. You know, we've been friends. We've been lifetime friends. And
hey,
so,
Coach,
we went back and forth.
But Coach, on that, speaking about Alabama A&M, I don't see where they've retooled to the point to where they can be a top 10 HBCU team. I just haven't seen that. There may be some belief in Coach Maynard that he has, but we'll see. That's the one thing about it. It'll all be decided on the field, and we'll get a chance to see how it turns out. But I don't think they have I don't think they have any chance of being a top 10 team, in my opinion.
Yeah, they've been downtrended for a while, and it really came from when they won the game versus during the pandemic, and so they've been on the downtrend since then. And you know, you hear stories out there in the street that Maynard is looking to try to get back towards his home, and so hey, they might give him a ticket. You know, we never know. But them winning a conference, they're not going to do that. So if that's the expectations, they need to start looking for a new coach now.
Well, like I say, I'm not surprised that Dr. Cavill picked Prairie View over Alcorn. I think that's a toss-up in my opinion. But like I say, I'm certainly surprised that Alabama State is in the top 10. So, but Coach, I wanted to ask you, talking about this ranking, and then I want to go over the D2 rankings just briefly, and they're too blurred for me to put on the screen. So I'll just address the one issue that I have in along with the ranking. But Coach, how does a blue blood school like North Carolina A&M, A&T end up in the cellar of HBCU football?
Well, you got to build continuity and consistency, and they've had three different coaches since they left the MEAC, and so that's not good at all. And playing, in my experience in OVC, playing against PWI schools, that means predominantly white schools, the game is much different. I'll tell you, I had my stats was better in the Ohio Valley Conference than actually when we put the black schools together, because we used to play Jackson State every year, Florida A&M every year, and it used to be a dogfight, But when we played the OVC schools, when we first jumped in, what they had over us was facilities and stuff. And as we got our
Coach, tell them where you were coaching at, Coach. Just remind people where you were coaching at when you're talking about.
Oh, I was at Tennessee State.
Yeah,
would be right there. That ring there and that one right there. Those two on that side. And so it was a different game of calling plays, because they're more predictable, meaning they're going to get in this defense. They're going to stick to this defense. Everybody going. And so I was probably a little different from them, because I kind of did a lot of razzle dazzle. I showed a lot of formations. And so it was easy to put points up. But when we first got there, it was hard because our players weren't strong enough. Now, they players going to be physically strong. They're going to be in the right place. And so that's a difference of coaching, I think, in a PWI and coaching in the SWAC or the MEAC. So if you don't have that type of style, then you're going to struggle a little bit.
Coach, let me ask you a question. Being a coach, and on these schools, when FAMU was down, and people know I've talked about Jack State. When Jack State down, the fan bases were demanding that there become a winning culture. Jack State got back on track. FAMU. Does North Carolina A&T, do they care about football enough where, you're talking about the largest HBCU, $200 million in endowment, recent success of football, but do they care enough where they're going to put pressure to say, hey, we don't accept being 1-10? Or are they just going to say, hey, you know what? We're good, and we're going to keep it moving, and if we win, we win. If we're not. Because at FAMU, I'm just going to tell you, we will lose our minds when we were getting those 1-10 seeds. Yeah. It was depressing.
I think the pressure will come more from the alumni to probably end up getting back into the MEAC. Because here's the other thing. See, those PWIs don't travel to your school. But when you travel to their school, they pack the house. Why? It's because you're bringing the band as well. So I think A&T will get back on the winning ways, but they got to get the right person in there as well. And, and they got to make that commitment of getting the right person in there. And so I just don't think that they were really prepared to move in there and prepared to move in there with the right guys. And it's going to cost them. When they start seeing their enrollment drop, I guarantee you they'll start thinking either they're going to try to get another coach in there that can coach in that conference, or they're going to have to move back to the MEAC. And I think it'd probably be leaning for them to come back to the MEAC.
Coach, let me ask you this. You've been around. Both of you guys can answer this. There have been blue bloods that have had kind of lulls in their success. Has there been any commonality on the HBCU side of what the teams have done to revive their programs? You mentioned that Florida A&M was down for a while. We've talked on the show that and said that Jackson State was down for a while. I consider both those programs are blue bloods. Now we're in a space where Southern is down and A&T is down. Is there anything you would recommend those blue blood programs do in the immediate future to revive those programs?
Well, I'll tell you, when administrators start getting into choosing a football coach and putting together a schedule and moving their programs, I think they do it for the wrong reasons. And that's what happens when non-football people get involved with football decisions. It always happens. I know you know at Florida A&M about Billy Joe, and you could tell that story. We've been crying, the SWAC been crying for Tennessee State for years. Gail Sayers back in the late 80s is the one put Tennessee State in the Ohio Valley Conference. And the only time they've ever won the conference is those two rings right there. And that's been now 40 years. Yeah, 30 years. I'm sorry. It's been 30 years that they've been in that conference, about 25 years, and only won it twice. And that was in 98 and 99, and they ain't seen the likeness of it. And I think when people that don't know football start getting involved, they make wrong decisions. Just like at Jackson State, when they brought Coach Bell and not stay with the status flow of keeping on hard and assistant and keeping things the same, they went outside. And it killed Jackson State. I mean, Jackson State just nosedived. But now they got it back going in the same way. And you can tell them about Florida A&M, Coach Campbell.
Well, I want to say something, Coach. You hit it. This is the HBCU Coaches Corner. And, Rocky, you know what I've always seen that Coach can speak to this? This has to do with the selection of the coach.
Yeah.
You select a good coach, that program will turn right around really quick. This is the thing that we see all the time when we look at these programs. And Coach Cole talks about this all the time. And I'm going to say this now. People want to put Sean Gibbs at FAMU. Sean Gibbs will be a perfect fit in North Carolina A&T.
Yeah.
He's been up there. He knows the culture. He knows North Carolina. I think he could go up there and make an immediate splash. I think that will be the type of coach. He's young. He's dynamic. Because I think what happens when you, to your point, and like I said, and I want to say this, Vincent Undertaker Brown is one of my favorite players. Let's be clear. One of the greatest all-time SWAC linebackers at Mississippi Valley State. Played for the New England Patriots. So I'm always rooting for my SWAC Mississippi brethren to be successful. But sometimes things are not the right fit. And I think when you're talking about a school like North Carolina, they were known for speed and size. They could do it offensively. They could do it defensively. So to me, I think they should get an offensive guy in there because there's a lot of talent in North Carolina. And it's North Carolina A&T, as far as the reputation of the school, has a great reputation right now, honestly. They get 30,000 people that's trying to come to the school. So to me, this goes back to what you say, Coach. Who is the next coach that is being incubated and prepared to be able to take that job? And to me, the only guy that I could just say right offhand is a Sean Gibbs.
Well, just speaking about A&T, but it's a lot of programs that's bad. I mean, Mississippi Valley been bad for years, Coach. Years. Pine Bluff, it's been bad. When Comey was there, he won 2 SWAC championships in 10 years, but them other 8 years was all losing football seasons. You know what I mean? So like you said, it's about the person that you choose. But here's the issue, guys. The window is small for Black coaches, Black successful coaches. So what these schools keep doing, like, it's no way that Mississippi Valley shouldn't call my phone. There's no way that Mississippi Valley should call LC Cole's phone. It's a way that they should call Fred McNair. All winning coaches who have winning formulas. You know what I mean? But they keep going out, trying to get, we can't pay a guy like a Johnny Cohen. Coaches don't necessarily, quote unquote, coach for money, because it's a stare. You go somewhere, you win, you move up. So a lot of times, these people who be making decisions, man, they don't ask the right questions. They're not looking for the right people, and you got to know where you are. If I'm a perennial losing school, why am I going to go get a guy that ain't had no experience? Or he's a running back coach at some BWI school. How's he going to come to Valley? He don't even know where to start. You know what I'm saying? So you got to go after what you need. So, for instance, Florida A&M. They stayed with Colzie, great. Or they could have went with the other guy, you know what I mean? Because they was here. They don't need a guy to come in there. You know, all he got to do is come in there and squeeze the gun. So Colzie's been in there. He don't clean the gun up. He let Simmons shoot it. But now Simmons said, all right, you've been cleaning this gun. Now you can just, all you got to do is squeeze the trigger. You know, when we left Tennessee State, we come off of 2 back-to-back championships. They gave the job to the running back coach, who that's the only place he ever been. And all he had to do was squeeze the trigger. But he had people in his ear and he didn't understand and he wasn't ready yet. The program died. So, you know, these people got to sit and talk to the right people when they start to quit making them buddy deals.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And that's what we do. We make buddy deals. Or this guy's nice. Or this guy came in the interview. Oh, he had a Bible in his hand. Man, that don't have nothing to do with coaching football. You know what I'm saying? I just it kills me, Coach, when I see these guys, man. I mean, I pray that Chris Dishman can get it done at Texas Southern. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But when you look at the numbers, for Texas Southern, but when you look at the numbers, it don't add up. Texas Southern is a perennial losing program. I don't know, but we will see. We definitely will see. You know what I mean? And they brought in 5 coaches, and ain't none of them won. Alabama A&M, they always right there. They always got a good program. Maynard ain't doing terrible there. He ain't winning the championship. It's the same thing when Anthony Jones was there. A&M was right there. They went to the championship game one time and lost, but that was there. He was always finishing second place. So, you know, and I'm glad Jackson State got back on them. You know, keep handing that baton off to a Jacksonian, and they're going to keep winning.
Absolutely.
Let me ask y'all this, Coach, and then we'll move on to our featured topic. You know, again, I'm gonna make a comparison to other PWIs. Has there been any success with elevating Division II, NAIA, HBCU coaches that were head coaches and successful on that level, and bringing them to the blue blood programs to be successful? Like if a guy was, so let me give you an example. If a guy was successful, say at maybe he won a championship in the SIAC or the CIAA, and then he was brought to a bigger school and was able to win a championship in the MEAC or the SWAC. That's kind of what I'm.
Yeah. That happens. I mean, you know, in my case, I was at Lane, you know, Division II, and were able to go to Texas Southern. You look, Chennisberry was at Benedict, and now he's at South Carolina State. You know, that probably would do well. So yeah, you know, there's some coaches, but what happens is very few Black college coaches that's able to jump up there. You know, the Division I HBCU schools are always chasing PWI Black coaches. You know, instead of turning over the coaches. My man up at Morgan State, you know, he got Bowie State going.
Yeah,
you know, Wilson, Coach Wilson up there. So yeah, it's a lot of that turnover, but it just hasn't been a lot of it lately.
Well, my man Ted, he stole my thunder. Billy Joe came from Central State. Central State was a powerhouse, and when I say they were beating all comers, this is a school that Hugh Douglas played for and great defensive end.
They were played for the
and I mean they beat all comers. Hey. But let me tell you what Billy Joe and like I don't want to get too. I know we got a big game to talk about, but Billy Joe was really the first person that really knew how to use transfers that came down to the level and brought those guys in from that Midwest and from the South. They played at Power 5 schools, and he would bring them in, and he had. I mean, the talent that he had, because matter of fact, the quarterback, the quarterback from Oklahoma, Coach, you remember that, the option quarterback that came behind Jamel Holloway.
CT.
Exactly.
Yeah, Thomas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Came and played for.
My brother them actually played for Billy Joe.
Charles Thompson.
Billy Joe actually. Yeah, Charles Thompson. Billy Joe actually recruited me.
No, the person I want to say that I remember, first person I didn't that let me know is Central State was an HBCU, was the great Eric Williams, one of the nastiest offensive linemen to ever play in the NFL. And if it wasn't for a car accident, it derailed what was on the pace for a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
Eric Williams. So they were. Go ahead.
Without a doubt. I mean, they were NAIA national champs, and James Woody was the quarterback up there. You know, of course, you know, I'm 30 minutes from Central State. My brother was All-American on one or two of those teams, and Billy Joe had it going in the right direction. You know, and you know, he come from Villanova, and Billy Joe actually played pro ball with the Eagles. So yeah, Coach Joe was one of those guys. He's one of those Pete Richardsons, and you had those. You got Billy Joe when you look back there, guys that actually coached in the conference in the last 40 years that had no HBCU background. Billy Joe, Rod Broadway, Pete Richardson. I can't name any more, you know.
But I thought Pete Richardson coached at Winston-Salem before he coached.
Yeah, but he went to University of Dayton.
You talking about okay. Yeah,
and then he played with the Buffalo Bills. So that's what I was saying. I mean, because Rod Broadway got his first start after 20-some years with North Carolina Central and was successful. You know what I mean? You know, Pete Richardson coached me in high school, and he went on to leave there and start coaching the running backs at Winston State under Bill Hayes. And speaking of Bill Hayes, and we're gonna talk about, I'll get that in about him because he's about to be inducted into the HBCU Hall of Fame, as well as they're about to name the stadium after him at North Carolina A&T. So I want to make sure we get that. But when you talk about Black successful coaches in Black college football, most of them came from HBCU schools.
That's
a trend that needs to be talked about, huh, Coach Campbell? They didn't come from the outside. They came from right on campus. You know what I mean?
Well, I think, you know, my point was not where they went to college as much as it was where did they get their coaching experience. Yeah. And so that coaching experience being successful at a lower level, to me, that's always a factor on how to predict whether a coach is going to be successful at a higher level is where you're successful at a lower level. Now, I know, you know, there are other factors that you can take into account. You know, you take a situation where you were assistant of a very successful coach. Some of those guys kind of elevate and then they're successful as well. But I just wonder, is there a blueprint for getting a quality coach? Because it seems like here recently, since I've been in HBCU football, they really boogered it up pretty good all over the place to the point to where there's only one coach now from the SWAC media day 3 years ago. So,
well, you know, one thing, everybody don't have the winning formula, and I know I bark this all the time about only 75% of the coaches are winners. I mean, 25% are winners, 75 are losers. You got to be able to come up with. Look at Nick Saban. It's almost every guy that come from his tree goes and win where they are because they stick and stay with the plan, you know. And if you don't stick and stay and really believe in the plan, the winning plan, then you fall off. You know, for instance, you know, me and my brother has a tree, you know, of guys that came off for us, guys that came behind Pete Richardson, you know, have some success. You know, with Dooley, you know, Dooley had a little success as office because he come up under Pete Richardson. So you gotta look at that of where these guys come from. what's the formula of winning that you understand about why did we win here? And you got to know that culture of what you got to change when you get to those places. And a lot of times the coaches that get seduced with talent are not good coaches. I'd rather take a good program than a bunch of talent, and I guarantee you program beat talent every time. So, you really would have to study some of these guys and where they came from.
Coach, let me, and this is my last question, because as we talk about coaches, why don't ADs involve other coaches in the selection process of coaches, or the former coaches, retired coaches?
Because of Jerry Jones. With Jerry Jones, Mr. Kevin, you might agree with this. Since Jerry Jones came into the forefront of buying the Dallas Cowboys owner, and he all down at practice. Damn, I think I seen one time he threw a pass. He all down making, coaching changes, buddy with the players, letting them know that I'm the boss and the coach ain't the boss. And when he got rid of Jimmy Johnson, that was crazy. But what he did was start sending a signal, and maybe I'm wrong. I start seeing these athletic directors be out front. They start being out front and on the sideline and in meetings and all that kind of stuff. Man, you're supposed to be in the background. I just believe like any family, there's the dad, and then there's the mom, and then there's the kids. The kids got to be able to fear the dad. You know what I'm saying? Or they got to be able to fear the coach. And if the coach don't have that string and that handle on his players, they not gonna get they not. Especially if I can run to Jerry. And I told people 20 years ago, I said the Cowboys would never win until Jerry Jones step away. Again, until he step away. And so that's what I see a lot now with these athletic directors on making choices who's never even played the game before. And I ain't saying you got to play the game to make the right choice. But damn it, like you just said, you got to be able to call some winning coaches and see and get some intake to be able to make good choices. And again, I go back to what I said earlier. You got to know where your program is at. What kind of coach do I need to come in here to make sure that I can get this program going in the right direction?
Hey, Coach. Hey, that's a sermon all in and of itself here on HBCU Coaches Corner. Hey, I want to encourage everybody to, let me go ahead and I'll put the link in later so you can go to, if you're watching on off script. If you're watching on off script, please, I'll put in the link. Go to the link. Follow us. Follow Rocky Miller on our YouTube page, and you can come back to off script and do your chatting, whatever. But I would definitely appreciate if you guys would go over there and follow, like and follow. Go over there and like and follow. It helps us out with the algorithm. Also, if you're watching on Scotty's channel, do not forget to like and subscribe on his channel as well. That's very important, right? We're a team over here in the HBCU space. We're not competitors. We need all the love on both channels. So, Coach, before we get started again, Coach, I just want to man, I forgot my train of thought. Lord have mercy. Oh, this is what I wanted to say. I'm gonna put the phone number up before we finish our review of the SWAC MEAC challenge. We're not gonna be here all night. If you're gonna call, we need you to be on the call line when we finish up our review, so we can get to the callers and then get out of here. If you don't call in, that's fine. We don't mind. But if you want to get your call in, be on the line and ready to go. By the time we finish our review, I'll put the number up. But with no further ado, let's get started with our review. All right, Coach, football is here, Coach. Football is here. we'll be at the SWAC MEAC Challenge. I know I'll be there, and Mr. Campbell will be there. Coach has had some unexpected bad news, and we're praying for him and his family. And so I don't know what his arrangements are going to be. But we'll make whatever accommodations we need to during that difficult time to cover the game in lieu that if in fact he has to be absent. But we're going to be on the ground. We're going to be boots on the ground on this game. We're going to lay eyes on this game, and I can't wait to see this game live and in person. But I'd like to go to you guys before we get started on the official review. Can you guys get some history on what this game is and how did this game come to pass and what it means for HBCU football being showcased like this at the beginning of the college football season?
Go ahead, Coach Campbell.
Well, here's the thing. As we know, this kicks off officially the college football season. This is the one game that has the spotlight on ABC. A lot of our powerhouse programs are played in the MEAC SWAC Challenge. And I think this is part of that mission that I think that the commissioner and both conferences have really worked to do, is to get us on national TV so people can see our games. So you're talking about ABC, Saturday night, only game in town. A lot of people be able to watch it. Like I say, the defending HBCU national champion, Norfolk State, comes into town. So I'm just excited. Anytime we can get exposure for our players, our schools, our athletic departments, is always a win for us. So again, the MEAC SWAC Challenge is not something that's been going on for 30, 40 years. It's relatively recent, especially playing in Atlanta. Because I think they used to play in Orlando when they first started off. Yeah. But now Atlanta is the perfect spot for it. And I think it really gets people excited because you know the one thing about it, it gives us a week early for everybody to talk about their teams. So that's what I really, 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 really like that. I really, really like that. Absolutely.
Well, you got the East Coast teams, and then you got the SWAC, and the SWAC is more popular than the MEAC. Because of all the great players that came out the SWAC. Under Eddie Robinson and those guys. And it always been, who is the best schools? Who plays the best football? The great thing about it is that I could say in the MEAC is more defensive guys. In the SWAC, we were more wide open than they were. And so that made a good challenge. We always, with your Doug Williams and those type of guys. And then they had people like Willie Lanier, and this go way back, and I know I'm talking way back, Willie Lanier and all that, and so that's the base value of it, the bragging rights between the MEAC and the SWAC. It's fun times. When the game get there, of course you got people that's from the South and people from the East Coast, and mostly all of us. Some way and somehow always came from the South, doing slavery and after that. So it's just a great challenge. I look forward to it. I wish, these games would have been around, when I was a player because, you always heard about how good the MEAC teams are. And of course, they have heard about how the SWAC teams are. So it's a great challenge. It's good for our African American people. It's almost take y'all with me back, Campbell, to the 60s.
Yeah.
When we couldn't play it to other schools. You know what I mean? So now it's back, but it's back in a different way of it's on national television. Back then, they didn't know our greats. Now they get a chance to see our great coaches and our great players, and it's just gonna be a wonderful event. And I'm gonna be there, Coach. I think most likely I'm gonna be there. It's more than like an 80% chance that I'll be there.
Awesome.
So
let's get this thing going. Rocky, go ahead.
So now I picked up a few storylines just by going through articles that we shared amongst one another. And of course, if you listeners and followers or have seen any other storylines in this game that we may have missed. one of them that I picked up is one that you sent me, Mr. Campbell sent both of us, is that surprisingly, Norfolk State was picked to finish 5th. And it's only a surprise because they had 12 players listed or 13 players listed on the MEAC all-conference team. So in one hand, you have them saying, hey, they're uber talented. On the other hand, you say they're the next to the last team in the MEAC. So, Coach, when you have that situation, what are they thinking about the program? What is the media thinking about the program and the coach?
The media is just like media. Some of them are just going by, not really doing their homework. There's no way that a 5th place team got 13 kids on the all conference team. Sometimes, man, that stuff is overrated. Sometimes it's political, where I'm gonna vote for your guy, you vote for my guy. That's definitely how it be. And then they still rank number 5 with 13 players returning, and we got 20 players. Florida A&M lost 20 players. Well, it should be a no-brainer who should win the game on paper, but we all know that ain't true. We all know that's not true. And Coach Odom is not good for Coach Odom. Because if I'm an AD or I'm somebody and I'm saying, well, we got 13 kids. There's on Coach. I didn't say returning. I say they're the best in the conference. You got 13 starters. That's the best in the conference. And all you gonna tell me we finished in 5th place? Then it ain't the kids. It's who, Coach? It's the
See,
coach.
that is such, when I saw that, when we were doing research for this, because I know one of the things that they had a very young team, that they were bringing back a lot of starters, right? Just overall for the team. And a lot of guys were freshmen, sophomores. I think I saw an interview. Coach Odom talked about a lot of his guys were young. But, Coach, to your point, even if people just don't know football, right? For you to have on the first and second team, and mind you, the quarterback was the all MEAC quarterback. He got hurt. So they actually have 12 now. But to have 12 players, more than Central, more than Howard, because I think Howard was next with 12, so they're now tied, to have that much quote-unquote talent.
Well, you tell me got two teams had 12.
Howard had 12 on the first and second team, not the first team now, on the first and second teams, between first and second teams. I want to be clear. Not first team. So first team offense, first team defense, second team offense, second team defense. So we're talking 48 kids, not counting the specialists. Right. So we're talking about almost 55, 60 kids almost.
Right. But let's throw them out. Let's talk about the players. You're talking about 48 players. And between those two schools, they got 24 of them.
Right.
And then the rest is the other, four teams. So
right.
divide 4 into that. Coaches.
Yeah, they can't have more than 6 teams, 6 people apiece on that team.
Yeah. And Delaware State probably ain't gonna have many. They might have 1 or 2. And then that's it. The rest of them go to the other school. Wow.
So now, what does that say?
Those things get you fired.
There you go. But this is what, and like I said, we're going to start moving into this. So this tells me that this team is more talented, and it should not be taken for granted. Would you not agree, Coach? If we're just looking at it on paper, right? If somebody says, I've got a caliber of 12 all-conference players, I think FAMU's got 6 total.
Well,
and we've got a player of the year type player, and I think we only got 6.
The sad part about it is, if that ain't the case, then the conference must be very, very weak. They have the last place team with 13 guys on. You know what I'm saying? It's just so many ways that you can look at it. Coach, I've been on championship teams and I've never been on a team that had 13 players on all conference. And I've won championships in every league, every conference. SIAC, SWAC,
OVC.
OVC, Coach. That's look, Coach Odom. If you should have came on our show. We get people jobs and we keep people jobs. You know, that's it. Hey, man.
You know, now this is what I did talk to Coach Odums this week. I'm just full transparency. I did talk to Coach Odums this week. I introduced myself to him, and his response when I asked him about coming on the show, he was please schedule the interview through my
SID.
I sent the SID an email, and I've yet to receive a response. So that's just what it is. Any of y'all know Alex Limbeck? That's the SID's name. If y'all know Alex Limbeck, please ask him to give me a call or you know. And I also sent those guys a link to the show tonight. So maybe Alex is watching.
Yeah, we reached out to Terrence Graves as well.
Now, Coach, let's get into this game, though, Coach, because this is what everybody's here for. Coach, let's talk about, and I'll help lead this a little bit, Coach. You've got a team like Norfolk State, as you said, that is picked fifth. You've got a coach that's a seasoned coach that has won divisions, and Dawson Odums. What does Dawson Odums need to do, and how is he preparing this team for a game like this, week 0, getting a quarterback that he thought he had an all-conference quarterback that he was looking to start? Now it's not. He's going to have a new quarterback that literally just happened this week and coming into Atlanta. What does Norfolk State need to do with the players they have to possibly win this game?
Well, the first thing they need to do is call you and get on the prayer list. No. Well, you know, Coach Odom is going in year 3 there. And his mark is there. The team is who he is. You know what I mean? His philosophy, players he's brought in, what he's been trying to teach, it should be ready to go. And as you know, to be the best, you got to beat the best. You know, and losing the quarterback, hopefully he got a good backup. Again, in year 3, he should. Or if he doesn't, he's going to have to strategize. You know, he's going to have to play clock management. He's got to really, really manage the game because you know what I know, Florida A&M could run away with it. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully he wasn't dependent on the kid that got hurt, you know, or being a throwing offense. So, and if they were, he's gonna have to really get in the drawing board, man, and figure out how he can get over the hump with this new guy at the quarterback. But man, I just can't get over. You got 13 players. Of what they're saying is you got 13 of the best 48 players in this conference. That's like saying you got 4 of the best basketball players out of 5 on your start roster. You got to be, you gonna have to show up. So it's no more excuses, and you just got to come in the game ready to play. You got to have those kids ready to play.
Coach, I want to also add that this is his 4th year in the conference.
Wow. 4 years is fast. Well, he just finished off his 3rd year. So he really, Coach, he has no excuse, man, not to show up and play really good football come this game. And really, he's got an edge over Coach Colzie. You know what I'm saying? Colzie knows the kids, but it ain't nothing like driving the car. You could be over the passenger seat, but it's nothing like driving the car. So Coach, he does have an edge.
Coach, you mentioned quarterbacks, and both teams named their starters this week. Norfolk named their starter due to injury. And from what I understand, FAMU had a very extensive quarterback competition to where that guy was named last night, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Campbell.
Yeah.
All right.
Last night, yeah, I think it was today. Yeah. So what is today? Yeah. Monday, right? Somewhere, right? Because today's Tuesday, yeah.
So I want to get your input on this, Coach. Have you ever been in a situation where you've waited this long to name a starter due to a quarterback competition or injury or something like this?
Yeah, I had two scenarios. When I was at Tennessee State, we had Todd Valentine that was coming off of like a 2,700-yard year, but we got a transfer named Leon Murray from the University of Pittsburgh. And I mean, this kid was special, you know, and I let him battle it out. I even went to even let the kid's name was Todd Valentine start. We was opening up the season with Florida A&M. And I even let him start because, you know, he knew the offense a lot better than the kid Leon Murray. But the kid Leon Murray, you could see the progress that he had. And, you know, I made sure that they got, you know, enough reps and enough timing. So I really didn't have to get Valentine enough time because he was there already. And so, and I told him, you know, we're going to start you out, Todd. If we stall, we're going to bring Leon in. And Leon was really the guy that I wanted, but I was being loyal to Todd Valentine. And I knew Leon had the upside. And we stalled at Florida A&M, brought Leon in the game. His first 15 passes was completions. It's history. He went on to throw for 3,000 yards, went on to take us to 2 back-to-back championships. So, yeah. At Alabama State, I had Darnell Kennedy. And everybody, if you're a SWAC guy, you know where he is because he finished 6th in all-time passing in NCAA. But we had a transfer come in from Oklahoma State, quarterback named Tiger. And I sit him down. And the thing about quarterbacks is they're great athletes. And so instead of me sitting one of them on the bench, of course, you know, I stayed with Darnell Kennedy, who went on to do great 3,000-yard passing and moved Tiger to wide receiver. And both of them made All-American because he was throwing to him. So, yeah, it's a tough situation. I don't like the dual quarterback deal. I don't like seeing a quarterback in, then another quarterback run in, then another quarterback. I don't like that. I like to get down to one quarterback.
No,
go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask you. I was going to you. What do you know from the inside about the quarterback competition and knowing that Junior has been on the roster the last 3, you know, this is his 4th year, I think, that he'll be on the roster. Can you tell us anything about what happened during the quarterback?
Well, this is from I've been following this closely, and this is one of the things I wanted to make sure. And like you said, I think both quarterbacks were playing the game. I think from what I've understood and what it came down to 2 things, that Richardson was able to make less mistakes in practice, and that there was a little bit more of a leadership factor that I think, being a graduate student, that I think that people, that the coaches saw. Not to say that Junior is not a great leader. I think Junior has been there. I think the people believe it. But I think what Coach was looking for, and I think, and Coach, you understand this, I think with this type of offense and what Coach is trying to do, I think he just wants to make sure we keep the train on the track. I don't think he's looking for Richardson to come out, throw 300-400 yards a game. I think he really wants this to be a ball control offense. Richardson get 200-something plus yards, don't turn the ball over, throw a touchdown or 2, and put the ball in the defense's hands. Because that's what I really see. We got a lot of playmakers. And like I said, this is the first time that FAMU is going to have tall playmakers with speed. So I think that's going to be excellent. Richardson, now one thing about Richardson, we got to give him credit. And, you know, I see people, and I said this to his stats. I think he did 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. But, Coach, you know this. When you are on a team that is not a good team, what's going to happen? You're going to try to make plays, right? You're going to try to do things that are out your comfort zone. So I can believe a lot of those interceptions that he's thrown is probably him just trying to make plays. So the question is, now you've got a kid that started 40-something games, Coach, who has played in 40 games at a higher level. So now we had Jerry Musa that didn't play at all at Vanderbilt, and he ended up being the SWAC Player of the Year. So now if you do that same correlation, he comes down a level. He understands he's played at a faster speed of game. The kid actually won a bowl game, Coach. Think about that. He won a bowl game. So we have a quarterback that's won a bowl game, that's coming down a lower level, but playing with a very talented team. So now this is what I think we see, where he doesn't have to be a guy, again, that's going to be a 30 touchdown guy, 25 touchdown guy. I think what they're looking for him, the guy, is get 20 touchdowns, limited interceptions. Like I say, throw for like. And again, I say this a lot: to be a Rashawn McKay, be a great game manager, and make plays when plays need to be made. That's what I really think, honestly, Coach.
Yeah. Well, Florida A&M, as you say, what makes a quarterback is actually the people around him. Of course, great offensive line, great running game. If you got a great running game, you should be a good passer. And got good people, good wideouts out there.
Right.
This kid has been around the program. He knows what to expect. He knows where the restroom is, as we always say. And I think he'll be okay. I mean, when it first opened up, he'll get a little jittery. But after that first hit, that first completion, then we'll really see what kind of guy is he. Is he a gamer? Some guys are great practice guys and just not gamers. So we'll get a good opportunity to see. He's been a part of the winning program, so he already knows that. And they didn't change nothing. You know what I mean? They didn't change the offense. He knows the terminology. He should be comfortable. Got a good offensive line coming back. Great running backs. They did a great job recruiting. So I look forward to him being smoother. You guys know that I really didn't care for Musa, a lot. Even though he was SWAC player of the year, I just think he didn't play good at times, and he kept the pressure on the defense by turning the ball over.
Let me ask you this: as a FAMU fan, and supporter, Mr. Campbell, what would be, if he turns out to be equal to Musa, what are your expectations? And if he turns out to be better than Musa, what are your expectations?
Well, here's the thing. You got to understand something, and this is with an asterisk.
What I mean, I'm talking about expectations.
No, I understand that, but this is with an asterisk. And so I want to say this. We have had 3 different quarterbacks that have won 9 games over the last 4 years, but that was with Coach Simmons. So that is a big asterisk. But with that being said, Florida A&M has recruited the talent to keep that going. So I think this, and again, from everybody I've told, this team is just as fast as last year's team. And one thing about anybody that knows Florida football is built on speed, disrupting the quarterback, making big plays. So my thing is, again, my floor is Rashawn McKay. My ceiling is Musa. So if you're talking about, we're talking 9 wins. So the question is, what is he going to do with the 4 wide receivers that we got that's brand new, that are come in? We got a new running back. So Kevin Dean, I know we're doing running back by committee, but I'm looking at the depth chart. They're saying Bo Somerset is going to be a starter. We're bringing back an amazing offensive line. So basically 4 guys that have played along with Elijah Felipe that came from Troy. I think he's 6'7", 230. So you're talking about an offense that has size on the offensive line, size with running back and speed, and then a wide receiver core that can go get it. So again, for Richardson, he's just got to play for the system. And now here's the thing. Coach Henry has always been with Coach Simmons. So to Coach Cole's point, I don't think the offense deviates too much, but I think we'll run the ball more because I think there's a trust factor that Coach Simmons had with his quarterbacks before that I think Richardson and Junior are going to have to build into at the beginning of the season. So I don't believe that we're just going to be tossing the ball and doing wide receiver reverses, tossing back like we did in the Celebration Bowl.
Well, it's so many variables to the success of this kid. Let's talk about play call. You got to be able to get in a rhythm. Some people think that you could just call plays. No, that's not how it works, because if that was the case, it'd be a lot of great coordinators. You got to be able to manage the game as well as call plays. You got to put these kids in successful plays, and not put them in plays where you see the defense, and for instance, it's not real good to throw the long ball against cover 3. You know what I mean? Unless you're going 2 by 2. And so if you see that, then you got to get out of it and put the kids in situations where they're successful in. So play calling has a whole lot to do with as well. So hopefully, what is Colzie calling the plays or?
No, Coach Henry.
Henry.
Yeah,
okay.
Coach Henry is the offensive coordinator. Now, Coach Burris, who's our quarterback coach, from my understanding, is, and Coach, you know this. Again, when you get your quarterback coach, you get your offensive coordinator, everybody comes. And Coach, I tell you what, why don't you just kind of talk about being a new coach and how does Coach Colzie put that game plan together? And what does he need to do for Florida A&M? So what will he be doing with Coach Henry and Coach Burris as far as getting ready for Saturday's game?
Well, first of all, they're going to break down Norfolk. And on the offense, I want to break down what they do. What they do on first down. What is their front? Is it odd or even front? What they like to do on second and short, second and long. What they like to do on third and short and third and long. Once you get those numbers, do they blitz? Do they bring blitz weak? Do they bring it strong? Do they bring it up the middle? What are their percentages? What downs do we know? What tendencies that we get from this defense that we're going to play? Secondly, how do they defend formations? You know what I mean? So I'm a lot in two wide. But again, I'm a lot different because I don't just sit in doubles, and I just don't sit in trips, which is 3-by-1. And see, Willie did. If you know Willie would get in some type of formation and here, so to give that defensive coordinator a look. If you guys notice, from when the spread came out, everybody spread and they running up the scores and throwing points. Now defenses have caught up with the spread. They have changed from having those big linebackers. Now those big linebackers are now defensive ends. And they still got the big three techs in the middle to get a push up the middle, like pushing pianos, and then they got fast guys. And now they've taken safeties and moved safeties up. So really they out there playing with almost 7 defensive backs back in the day. But they're safeties, they're bigger kids. So now the game has become who got skill and can you tackle in open field. So you want to look at that. Now I get in and say, okay, they defend this formation like this. All right, here's a spot here, here's a spot here, here's what we can do. All right, they like to come on first down. They like to blitz for so. Well, then I'm going to get my screen game going, because I know I'm going to let them come in, and then we're gonna throw a screen. Or they don't like to come on first down. Oh, then I can run my draw game. I can run my regular play. You know what I mean? Oh, they like the movement up front. All right. So then that means we got to hesitate on when we call our plays. So it's so much of going into that. And, I used to actually, I would come in and would be by myself after I put together my script of what I'm going to do. I used to put the first 20 plays. Well, the first 13 is going to be a different formation every play. But every third play was going to be a big play. We were going deep. Of course, all that changes with how the game goes. But I used to go and then I would watch them play and I would go through my list on, okay, here's first down. Boom, this is what I'm going to get from them. This is the play I'm going to run. You know what I mean? So I would play the game in my mind, just me and myself. So when I get there, because I had a lot of people complaining that I didn't wear headsets. Well, I don't play the game in my mind so many times that I already know what I'm gonna do, how the game going, what they doing over there. Oh, here they coming. They like to come, and that I think that had a lot to do with my success. So I think those are things that they're looking at, and of course, it's about your personnel. And with this kid being new, and how good he is depends on how they will open up the playbook. In his first game, you really don't want to open it all the way up. You want to start to stay consistent, and you always want to try not to have so many mistakes. Because usually the person that win the game in the first and second and third game of the year is people who don't make mistakes.
Now, Coach, let me ask you a question, and I want to talk about strategy of the game. So FAMU runs the 4-2-5. We all know Coach Odums runs the RPO. He's got a new quarterback. Clearly, he's not going to put the ball up. So you got 2 All-American defensive backs with FAMU. You've got a defensive line. What would you think and you seeing that now, the scouting report, brand new quarterback. They've got a successful running back. They've got a couple of all-conference linemen. What do you think the FAMU defense, how would they do? Would you say, hey, we're going man-to-man, or we just going zone? What would you say in a game like this? What would you do, Coach?
Against Florida A&M?
Against Florida A&M's defense. Well, I'm going to start with the defense. Florida A&M's defense versus Norfolk State's offense with a brand new quarterback and a running back with a running attack that Dawson likes to run.
Now, does Florida A&M have a good, you say on their defensive front, they like to play even front, 4-2-5?
Yep, they were playing a 4-2-5.
Well, I would come in the game knowing and thinking that we got to be able to be successful running the football. Because they definitely, if it's 4-2-5, they playing cover 2 in the secondary.
Okay.
Or it could be lanes. So now they got 6 up front. So now I got to get in another blocker, or we run stuff like the the spread where they running the wing and they read the deepest end. And whatever he do, if he takes the running back, the quarterback keeps it. I also have a guy that's motion. Bring a motion guy in. Maybe a big tight end, and we go 4 wide to spread you out. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll bring him in and kick him out, or bring him in, run power, run some type of trap game with him. But I will show him so many looks. And if he's going 4-2-5, that means he got 5 secondary people on that doggone football field. And so if he got 5 secondary, everybody out there don't want to tackle. So definitely, it would be in my chips to be able to run the football with 2 backs, not 1 back.
Well, Coach, let me ask you this. Well, we saw that game plan executed in the Celebration Bowl, and it worked quite well, I thought, against Howard, holding Howard to, I think, under 200 yards total offense, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, and also, Coach, we talked about that Howard never pushed him back. And the more Howard tried to run the ball and stay safe, they start at the beginning of the game, those safeties was back 15 yards. Because usually that's where they sit at, about 12 to 15 yards when they really not in the run game. As the game got going and it was close, by the time end of the third, first of the fourth, them safeties was at 10 yards. Every time that quarterback turned his back to hand that ball off, they were up at the line of scrimmage. And I kept telling you guys, they got to throw the ball deep, no matter if they complete it or not. They got to let those safeties know that, because now, instead of you going to 4-2-5, shit, you got 4 people in the box. You see what I'm saying, Coach Campbell? You got them safeties, as soon as you turn it back and hand that ball off, they already up in there.
So, Coach, do you think, with that being said, brand new quarterback with Norfolk State that wasn't expected to start, how much confidence and how much do you allow him to throw the ball like you're saying? Or do you say, hey, we're just going to go to our strength and keep this game close where, we're talking about a 21-17 game, get some turnovers, hopefully FAMU's having a bad day? Is that because I hear a lot of times about what the quarterback should do, but I always ask, can the quarterback do what he should do? That's the question.
Oh, well, that's when you start giving the quarterback options, and that's why I've said that the spread to me has never been just an offensive. That's our offense, the spread. I always looked at it as a package, and I think people get caught up into that because when it's time when you need 4 minutes to run off at least 2 or 4 minutes, you got to bring them big boys in there. We got to go pound and come and eat the clock. You know what I'm saying? You can't eat the clock in 4 wide. And I see it all the time. And it just makes me so angry. Look, we running the football. We up 7 or we up 9 or we up 2 scores. You know what I mean? We want to run out of here. But they stay in 4 wides because their offense is spread and they probably hadn't recruited a tight end or some extra linemen that come into the football game.
And Coach, what you're really describing is the dilemma that Howard was in in the celebration ball. They kept trying to run the ball, but they were running out of a spread formation. And
you know what else they did, Coach? They gave Willie Simmons, one of the best offensive coordinators in football. They kept giving him the ball back. He was going to score. That's what he do, Coach. And the more you give him the ball back, the more he have a chance to score. And then that one time, Howard, when they were up, they could have went up top, and I guarantee you they could have hit it. And it wasn't about necessary scoring. It was about letting them know y'all can't load up on us.
Now, Coach, I want to talk about a little bit about their quarterback. So Jalen Daniels, who's going to be the new quarterback, played 8 games at JUCO, completed 57% of his passes, threw for 1,200 yards. But here's the thing. Only 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions.
With 1,200 yards ain't much either.
Yeah. So this kind of, right.
That's okay.
So this again leads me to believe that looking at what he just did, he's not a guy that just lived up in JUCO.
Numbers. What was his rushing numbers?
They only showed that he only ran for two touchdowns. So I think he's a big kid that is just more. I'm assuming they're looking for him to be a pocket passer. I would assume, Coach. Haven't seen him play, but I'm just kind of looking at his numbers at face value. When you have a guy like that, and now you know that again, and I guess I'm just trying to get this breakdown because this is what people want to hear. They want to hear the breakdown of this game with this team, what will Coach Cole do going against this FAMU, and then we'll flip it over on the other side. But when you have that, what do you do, Coach?
Well, we're gonna run the offense around what he feels comfortable with, and there's some things that we gotta do that keep him honest. Of course, we can't let them load up on him. And this is once again, I look at my offense as a toolbox. When you need a monkey wrench, we're the monkey. When you need some grips, or when you need a screwdriver, a Phillip, or a flathead, you could go in there. So in other words, I'm gonna have me some draws. I'm gonna have me some screens. I'm gonna have me some quick stuff that he could get to. We're gonna be able to play power game. We're gonna do some bootleg stuff. And if he's a guy, we're gonna have some quarterback runs. Not many, because I don't know what the third team look like. Because you don't want him to get him knocked out the game. We're not going in the game to not lose the game. We're going in the game to win the game. So to go in the game to win a game, you got to do what this kid do best. And whatever that is, you'll know that from practice. But I would definitely show Florida A&M a lot of looks, and I definitely would run what this kid can run and what's good at and what he feels comfortable with. It ain't about me. It ain't about my big playbook. It's about what can this kid carry and hold and execute when it's time for him to play.
Now, Coach, let's flip it over. So we're talking about Florida A&M offense. New offensive coordinator, but has been with Coach Simmons, so the offense has not changed. New quarterback, new running back, offensive line, all is where the experience at. Running backs, offensive line, wide receivers, got speed out there. What do you do? And also, how much? And Coach, I've heard a lot of this. They say that Daniel Richardson is 5'10". He looks even shorter than that. Looks like a Doug Flutie. How much does that matter in what you're calling for? If you have a short quarterback that's 5'10", 5'9", and what the type of offense that you think Florida A&M is going to run?
Yeah, it really doesn't matter how tall the kid is or how wide he is. It's how much that he can dilute into what you're trying to do. And he's been in the program, so he's pretty much familiar with some of it. Again, if my offensive line is the veterans, then we're gonna shift it over to the veterans. We're gonna make sure that we mix it up good enough where they can't load up to say, oh, they just gonna run the football. And that's why you got to, the fake dive and the bootlegs and that kind of thing. With that speed on the outside, again, with a new quarterback, you don't want to throw the ball down the field a lot. Hopefully they working on a lot of bubble screens, and that way that kid can get acclimated to the game. He can feel good. I'm completing some passes. I'm moving the offensive down the field. I don't want to throw it all on his shoulders. I want to be able to make sure that we mix a good run, pass, draw, screen mixture. I don't want to get stale on the kid, but I don't want to put the game. Now, always, Cowboy and Rock, is what's happening. Meaning, what's the score? Is our defense playing well? Are we down 2 touchdowns? Are we down 3? What part of the game that I'm gonna say, man, if you don't or not, we gotta throw the football. We gotta move it downfield. We gotta get down and score. We down 3 touchdowns, and we down 2 touchdowns. So a lot of adjustments you gotta make on those game situations. Coach Henry is his name, OC.
Yeah, Coach Henry. And he's offensive line coach. Yep.
Yeah, so he's got to be. Oh, I hate offensive line coaches that are OCs. Boy, you don't kill me there. Boy, look, we better bring our pillow to the game, coach, because they're gonna be running the hell out of that ball. I don't know Coach Henry that well. I probably the more line coaches and look, I would never argue. Great defense and run game win championships. I would never argue that point. But damn it, they run the ball too much sometimes. You be falling asleep.
Go on, Rocky. I want to clear up one thing, and I think we got a former FAMU football player, Wisdom Anderson. Appreciate you. I think what Coach Cole was talking about is not. He knows that Dan Richardson has played before. He was talking about starting the first start for FAMU. That's what he was talking about. Starting and what that adjustment has to be. Not that he does not have starting experience, because he's played 42 games. So and he's a graduate. Yeah, all right, go ahead, Rocky.
Oh, yeah, so he's a pretty veteran player then.
Yeah, very veteran.
Wisdom also says that he's not your typical O-line coach. So, coach, we may not have to get that pillow and go. But I will say this, coach. O-line coaches tend to call a more physical brand of football. Let's just say that, and
the object of the game is to score. The object of the game is stop people to score.
So coach, and me and Coach Campbell have talked about this extensively.
Y'all cheating on me?
No. We were discussing Willie. And one of my thoughts about Willie's play calling was this. Sometimes Willie took liberties to do things in the game that were risky when it wasn't necessary to win the game. You understand what I'm saying? That you up by 10, you're dominating on the ground. Why call that pass? Why call that play in this situation? On 2nd and 4, why are we trying to get a home? Why are we trying to hit the home run rather than just run the ball for the first down and get a new set of downs? And in those cases, some of Musa hit them, and then there are other situations where Musa threw it to the other team. And so I was just saying that maybe a more conservative game plan may generate more points, because if you have a more consistent passer than you had in Musa.
Yeah, it's so many variables in the game. And let me say this, and let me make sure I'm clear. My first championship as a head coach that I won, we finished number 12 in the nation in rushing at 275 a game. So I get it. When I first got to Ohio Valley Conference, we was throwing for over 300 yards a game the first 2 years. And I went down to visit LSU, and that's when they had a guy named Falk at the tailback. And we went through their running game and, met Nick Saban and all that. And I knew then that I had to get away from just throwing the ball and doing stuff like you said, Coach. And so we were able to do that. So, and we went on to win 2 championships because we were balanced. You know, we averaged like 498 a game, something like that, the total offense. So there's so many variables. You just can't say, oh, well, let me just go in the game and be. And like I was saying, that's what Howard did. They gave the game, said, this is our game. This is what we're going to live with. And this is what we're gonna die with. And I just don't think that you do that. I think you die trying, you know, as 50 Cent say. So I'm gonna always try to keep you off balance. Sometimes I'm gonna throw a formation or throw a pass or do something just to give you something to think about. But more and more that a defensive coordinator have to prep for. Can you imagine? And I don't know, you guys ain't never been in a room where the defense coordinator look at his board. He puts up all the formations that you run. And then he put the plays that you do. Okay, this formation they like to throw out of it. Because he's trying to get tendencies too. But when a defense coordinator is hard to get tendencies on you, that make it difficult. And then if you could speed the game up of getting plays in and out, where he can't even make calls, you know, I love those defensive coordinators who try to change players for players with me. See, then now I'm gonna catch him with more defensive backs on the field, and then we be able to check at the line and run the football. Or he got so many defensive players in the game and not enough defensive backs where we gonna have 5 wide, you know, where I got a tailback that actually can run routes like. So those are variables that I like to see when I'm looking at a team play football, you know, play games. I just don't like to see. I get tired, and you guys can chime in on this to see either we got 4 wide receivers or 3 wide receivers and 1 guy. And we keep doing the same thing, zone inside, zone pop outside, zone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like you say, it's 31, 30 inches, 32. Bring a big fullback in, or bring, you know what I mean? And there's so many times that you don't get that first down because the spread is your offense.
Well, I think going back to, and I'm referencing the Celebration Bowl for this reason. Florida A&M's defense was so effective, right, that they were getting in. It wasn't 3rd and short they were getting in. They were in 3rd and long. And so it was either run the ball and punt or pass the ball when they know you're going to pass. You understand what I'm saying? So and I think, and back to your point, Coach, I think if you're going to take chances, you make calculated chances that are kind of off script or unpredictable when you make those chances. My point with Willie, he was always unpredictable, but he may not have needed that play. It seemed like this. I got all these plays I drew up and I wrote on this play sheet, and I want to call them all. You know what I mean? And by God, he called them all. And so with Musa particularly, and this is what Mr. Campbell pointed out, that there are many times Willie dialed it up and the wide receiver was wide, butt ass naked, open, running down the field, and Musa missed it. That's a great play, but in some cases, they could have ran the ball and got 8 yards, and they wouldn't have been in 3rd and long, or they wouldn't have to punt. That's all I say.
I remember we were playing Doug Williams and them, Grambling. I was at Alabama State, and we had just scored, to go up. And we went back and we kicked out to them, and they fumbled. They fumbled the ball, I think, on their 25-yard line. And I got them on their heels. So what y'all think I called? I called a triple reverse. We pitched it to the boundary. He gave it to the wide receiver coming back, and then here come another receiver. He gave it to him. And Coach, he walked in the end zone. Matter of fact, he stopped at Circle K and got a pack of hedges and smoked them and walked in the end zone because we had them on their heels. You said that Florida A&M defense was so great. Yeah, it was because Howard was so stale. Howard was so predictable. You know what I'm saying? They were going to line up in this, and they was going to run the ball. And that made the game look like Florida A&M defense was so great, even though they were. But the offense was just so predictable. You never got a man out the box. You let them keep all the guys in the box. You never motioned to see if they were in man or zone. And you never gave them, you didn't give them a whole lot of looks. They just kept it close to the best. And some guys are just like that. I'm not that type of guy. Simmons ain't that type of guy. There's some guys, there's some good offensive coordinators that does a good job. You got to keep that defense off balance.
Well, let's do this. Because here's the thing. Coach Simmons is not walking through that door. We got new defensive coordinator, new offensive coordinator, new head coach. Offensive system should be pretty much the same. Defense, I heard, is pretty much the same. Might be a little bit. How much of that plays into going into this game when you have new coaches who have been on the staff, but now taking that leadership role? Because the reason why I'm asking, I want to focus because see, this is a pivotal to me. This game for both sides, and I'm going to talk about the Norfolk State because I think this is, as we have a subject there, this is a hot seat game for Odums. But I want to talk about Coach Colzie and that offensive staff because they, to me, have a lot of pressure on them of the standard that was already set because you got people in the chat, oh, that was Willie. You guys are not going to be here because only Willie did that. Rocky still talking about Willie dialed this up and things like that. But I want to talk about the coaches that are there now and what is their mindset and what do they need to do to have a successful season and starting with this game.
Let me say this, Coach. Nothing's guaranteed. Very seldom do you have a coach like Willie Simmons and a team like Florida A&M had to win the national championship. And then now that leader is gone. To me, it's more of how Colzie them came in, meaning that they keep everything in place by the number. You know what I mean? By how the team approached practice, because all that counts and all that matters. I wish we could have got down there and just see how the team, are they loose? Is Colzie a strict guy or is he not a strict guy? Before you even get to the field, is the approach the same? Where are the kids' heads at? Are they thinking, oh, we just going to walk out there because we the champions and Norfolk is not a very good team? But they do got 13 guys on all conference team. You know what I'm saying? So they got to be something. I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's always the first game of the year. Like you say, it's a lot of newness around Florida A&M. I don't think they're just going to walk through the league like they did last year because the culture is different. Now the culture is Colzie's culture. It's not Willie Simmons' culture. You know what I'm saying? And it depends on, again, how Coach Colzie approached it. Did he say, man, look, I'm going to stay shit. See, I'm an economist, meaning if it works for them, it works for me. I ain't got to change the wheel. I ain't got to even color the wheel. You know what I mean? I might shine it up, but I'm going to do exactly like it was done because it's a winning formula. 2 back-to-back 9-game seasons or 3, it's a winning formula. You know what I'm saying? So
actually 4. Actually, it's 4 because we won 9 leaving the MEAC and we won 9, 9, and 12 last year.
So it's got a lot to do with. I don't think it's about the X's and O's, Coach, for Florida A&M. I think it's about the Jimmy and Joes. How they gonna approach this game? How are the coaches treating them? Do the kids feel good? Do they second guess the coach? That's the stuff that I'm worried about with Florida A&M. I think they'll go in and win this football game, You know what I'm saying? I think they will take the game from Norfolk. You know what I mean? But I don't think nothing's guaranteed.
Right. So, Rocky, when are we gonna pick our scores? So I think this is a good time.
Yeah. I'm ready when y'all are.
Well, Coach, I'll go first. Here's what I'll say. When I looked, because I always will give people credence. Go ahead.
Leave your thought right there. Chad, I'm looking at the ticket. People give coaches too much credit. Talent beats coaching every time. Chad. That means that every team in the pros win because it's talent everywhere. It's the best talent everywhere in the NFL, right, Coach? And in the NBA. Well,
I tell you one thing, he can't be a Dallas Cowboy fan because Dallas has had all that talent, ain't won nothing. And most of these people weren't even born when they played in the Super Bowl. So I totally disagree with that.
I'm sorry, Coach. I had to.
Yeah. I don't know about that with Chad. I mean, we appreciate you, but come on, bro. Like I say, that's a quick point out. And like I said, I'm from Tallahassee, and Wisdom I know Wisdom's younger, but my EA knows this. Florida State had the most talented team every year for 15 years, and only won 3 championships. And they had All Americans and first rounders up and down that roster. And Miami would come in there and whoop their ass all the time. So I disagree with that. I think this, and again, this kind of, not to get off on this, but Coach, this is what we talked about when you have coaching and what a coach can do. Because a coach can take a group of players that the other coach couldn't do anything with and make them winners. And then we've seen other coaches come in and the team was this and they went down. So coaching to me always factors in. You got to have talent. Do you have to have talent? Of course, I want FAMU to always have the most talent because that makes your job easier, right, Coach? When you have talent, that makes your job easier. But the part that separates champions, and I'm about to get off on our history lesson, Coach. Eddie Robinson had a lot of talent, but he was a great coach. Pete Richardson had a lot of talent, great coach. W.C. Gordon, a lot of talent, great coach. Rob Broadway. A lot of talent, but great coach. See how that kind of works hand in hand?
Coach, all those were championship coaches, and they was in a league with 12 other schools. So what happened to the other coaches? You mean none of them had talent?
Coach, I think a lot of times, and I'm gonna bring up Willie again for this point right here. A lot of us SWAC football watchers saw Willie as a 12th man. Like, I don't know if y'all saw him act like that on FAMU side, but
absolutely,
game, Willie seemed like the 12th man. And so, what we're concerned about is what's gonna happen if FAMU gets in a stagnant space. Who's gonna pull it out the fire? Willie pulled it out the fire many times with a really slick play call, clever play design. Who's going to be able to do that for FAMU this year?
Well,
go ahead, Coach.
Coaching is the ultimate thing. I of course, you guys know I referee, and I see out there. I see a lot of talented kids. Get upset because they fumbling the ball because they don't know where to line up, because that's coaching. You know what I'm saying? And that's down in Pop Warner, what he talked about. You got a kid that's bigger than everybody. He run over 7 people. And the play he ran wasn't even schemed right. He just out-talented everybody. Yeah, that happens in Pop Warner. But as you get up, in higher grades of levels of playing the game, coaching is the ultimate reason why teams win championships, not just talented players. And I'll say, give me a program, a good program, and I'm going to be the talented team 8 out of 10 times.
Wow, Coach. You said it. Yeah. Hey, so
but go ahead.
Let's get to the scores.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, listen, I've said this, and this FAMU team, I'm going to tell you what's funny. And as somebody that's been around SWAC, it always tickles me when my SWAC people, because they really don't know a lot about FAMU, Coach. A lot of them only found out about FAMU when we came to the SWAC. So I hear a lot of the predictions. We lost our coaches, which we actually didn't lose our coaches. Oh, you lost a bunch of players. Actually, we didn't lose as many players. We lost talented players, but we didn't lose 60, 70 guys, right? FAMU has a lot of talent. A lot of talent. What's going to me, to your point, is are the coaches going to rise to the occasion and coach the team? Because I think the talent is there. So for me, with Norfolk State losing their quarterback, bringing this guy, just, I know he competed all summer, but I'm saying something. I got FAMU 35-14.
35-14.
I got FAMU 35-14. I think, again, and I wisdom said it, and I think a lot of people saying, I think this team, and this is what I've heard about this team. I heard this team is more disciplined, and that's not as a negative, because you know the beat of your team. This team, I think, has a different focus because of what they want to prove. That, again, Coach Simmons is not there. But I've heard the things that I need to hear. I didn't hear like, oh, well, we don't like what's going on. I heard everybody has bought in down there in Tallahassee. And I mean everybody. And I think that's the reason why the players were behind Coach Colzie. And I think Coach Colzie also knew, by him being a new coach, that he had to kind of tighten them screws up a little bit. You know what I mean? Keep everybody, let's tighten it up first. Let's make sure we're all on the same page. Let's make sure we're all going to class. Let's make sure we're all functioning as a team. And then as the season goes on. But I think that was the right mindset with this team. And I'm really excited about what I heard, because I think this team needed that. Because I think sometimes you'll see a team that is so talented and they just get away. Well, we win a championship, we won a game, we'll always do it like that. Sometimes you have to change it up. And I think changing it up is I think is excellent. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I got us 35-14.
Well, I'll go ahead and go next, and then we'll save Coach for that. Unfortunately, this won't be the test for FAMU that I was hoping it would be. With the injured quarterback for Norfolk State, it won't be the test that I thought. And I just honestly believe that FAMU is a more talented team, and with the team coming in with their quarterback injured, FAMU's just going to really overwhelm them and get on them early and stay on. So I look at this game to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 28-7. I'll take that 28-7, Coach. 28-7 FAMU.
Well, it's first game of the year, and I'm really looking. I think Florida A&M gonna win the game, but one reason is because they quarterback, Norfolk's quarterback is out, and that kind of hurt the momentum. It hurts team morale. Now at the last minute, as an OC, I gotta go back to the drawing board to make sure that we're calling the right things to make this kid successful. So I think the game would be much quarter. You got 28-7, you say? Yeah, I'm looking more of 24-7, 24-10. I'm looking forward to be one of those type games.
I mean, I honestly don't expect much from FAM offensively. I expect them to be less effective offensively. Instead of, throwing for 250 and running for 150, I expect them to run for 100 and throw for about 200. Yeah. And then I expect to Norfolk, the backup quarterback, to give them one. So that's why I say I think they'll put up 21 points on their offense. I think Norfolk State will give them one, and then Norfolk State will score one. So again, 28-7 is what I think, but I think I also agree with you. 24-10 is also a great score as well.
I just can't see Coach Odom going into his fourth, right, Coach? Ain't that what we said?
Yeah, fourth.
Coming to the opener and getting blown out. Because he knows, his team, if he was the right choice for Norfolk State, should get it done. You know what I'm saying? He should be able to get it done and go in there and play a competitive game. Now he got to get out of the house free card because of his quarterback, but that don't mean he should go in there and get blown out 38-14. You know, I don't see that happening. When you've been in the program for 4 years, I have no excuse for that. You know, I think that's the year that you're supposed to really be, tell the truth, competing for the championship.
I agree, Coach. It's supposed to be a time.
Hey, Coach. Well, we look like we don't have any callers, so we're gonna be able to wrap up early. But it's surprising to me, Coach, that maybe this is just HBCU football. That so many fans are rooting on y'all downfall, Mr. Campbell. I mean, like,
listen. Hold on. I'm glad that this is a good topic. What tickles me, and I don't mind this, but this goes back to the part of that brag difference. You gotta understand something. We are the outsiders that have come into the SWAC. You got all them was kissing cousins and friends and all that. Southern and Jack say, "Oh, we hate each other, we whatever." Alcorn, we hate each other, Grambling hate all that. Folks didn't know who we were, Rocky. You gotta understand something. We have only lost 2 games. 2 games in 3 years, and that was to them JSU super teams. Them folks don't like that. And not only did we beat everybody, Jackson State lost the Celebration Bowl with them super team. Now you talking about coach. Now we knew they had a talent advantage and lost 2 Celebration Bowl, and then we come back and win it. Them folks do not like that. So it tickles me when I see people picking against us because you're picking with your heart, not your head. Because there's no way, and that's why I know, or you don't know football. Because we got people that sit up there, and that's why I know you're not even taking the time to even do your research. Because you would even do the research, you would know that FAMU has this offensive line. And, Coach, you know it starts with the offensive line.
Well, here's another prime example why the guy's statement is so...
Wait, hold on, Coach. Yes, Paris, you had Shadur Sanders. You had Travis Hunter. You had James Houston. Those are some of the most talented teams in Jack State history. Those are super teams. You literally had a quarterback that literally, I'm talking about what I know. It was one of the best quarterbacks that ever played in the SWAC as a freshman and sophomore. So, yes, those were super teams. And don't even say they weren't, okay? Those were not average teams. So don't play that game. Stop it. All right, go ahead, Coach.
But this is another example. Willie Simmons, he didn't lose many at Prairie View. Let's just get that straight. He didn't lose many games in the SWAC at Prairie View. And then he goes to a more talented Florida A&M area, and he takes off. You know what I'm saying? And that's because of the coaching he brought in. So I get it. It's tough on me, guys, because, when I was in the conference as a young coach and as a older coach, you had some good coaches, man. You had some good coaches. And I'd be damned if somebody would enter into the conference and just – because everywhere they recruited, I would have recruited. If they went after Hunter, I'd have been going after the other guy that played with Hunter.
But this is one of the things that I'm gonna say this, right? As an outsider coming into the SWAC. I was told that this other coach wouldn't work. I was told that there's no way it's going to work without experience. It wasn't going to work. You just can't walk in the SWAC and win, so on and so forth. And now I'm being told Colzie can't work. Though we can look at the talent, we can look at the infrastructure that's already in place, but you're telling me it's not going to work. I guess because y'all don't want it to work.
And we love it. And we love it. We love it. We love it. Got better recruiting classes than everybody. Us at Jack State are always 1 and 1A with the recruiting classes. All this talent we brought in. And to get Coach, let's go back to the point. What did Alabama A&M bring in for them to be number 9? But we're supposed to be bad. And we've got players. We've got defensive players that are potential defensive players of the year, and we're supposed to be as bad as Alabama A&M? Wow. Make that make sense to me, Coach.
It doesn't.
And I go back to this, and I say this. I watched Scotty's show today. I mean, it aired last night, but I didn't get a chance to watch it till today. You got people picking Southern as a surprise team just because they eat dirty rice and beans and rice. I mean, what are you basing it on?
Oh, and then telling me that I'm being a homer because I don't do something. And I'm gonna say it, my nephew Perry White. Perry White does the Jaguar Journal. What is he? I'm like, bruh, you get paid for Southern. You ain't gonna. Perry has never said anything bad about Southern for the 3 years that he's been around this.
Oh,
he has never. Perry will never, and I'm not mad at him because you know what? He's in Baton Rouge and he works for Southern. But come on, man, Southern is not. Come on, stop it.
Well, what I'm saying is, it's typical SWAC since I've been following the league is that you don't look at the recruits, you don't look at the coaching, you look at because I want them to do this, they're going to do this. It has to be played on the field, Coach.
Well, Coach, that's why our show is a lot different. We ain't shooting from the hip, we shooting from the numbers. We've been very successful in the past, and we're looking to do the same thing this year. So it's tough. It's tough. That Dion was able to come in and take over, but hey, Willie was right there. I mean, 7-6 in one of the games, and Willie was right there and just couldn't punch it in. So it's right there. But see, here's the other thing. You got a lot of good teams. So every week you got to get up for a good team. That's tough. And then you get them injuries. But when you don't have a lot of good teams, one team can run through like that.
Let me say this. Let me just say this. And this is just another observation. 3 years. I don't know how many SWAC wins, but 2 SWAC losses against those 2 JSU teams coached by Deion Sanders.
Right.
I would think Florida A&M is the boogeyman, and you wouldn't want to aggravate the boogeyman.
That's why. Let me tell you something. And Wisdom can talk about this, EA and my FAMU people. That's why we sit back. Let me tell you what's so funny about the disrespect. And I think this is a great topic. And this is for people to call in because I do want to hear this. And we got time. I know we're trying to get off. Yeah, I want my people to call in about the because you got listen here, Coach. You got the Prairie View people. They feel disrespected. This is our year, but they didn't get picked number 1. They feel disrespected. You got the JSU people. You got my nephews and them saying they going 11-0, but they got picked 3rd in the SWAC. They feeling disrespected. You got Alabama State, who the SWAC people picked them, right, number 1 in the East, but people don't even have them ranked in the top 25 in the FCS poll. And Dr. Cavill got them what is that, Rocky? Got them 7 or 8?
Yes.
Behind Jackson State. And so they feel disrespect. FAMU is the defending champions, and Willie's gone, and the 237, and we feel disrespected. That is what is so beautiful about everybody feels disrespected. Everybody feels disrespected. Everybody got this chip on their shoulder. So I like that. I like the fact, but what I want to do is, if you have a team, call in and tell me why you feel that your team is being disrespected. I just want to hear from some of these people because I know why I feel, because it tickles me when you got people. We literally had somebody. I watched the show, and shout out to Josh Sims and them with HBCU United. Another of my nephews. Great show Sunday. So check those guys out. But you had somebody rock on that team that said, honestly, with a straight face, that Norfolk State was going to be FAMU. With a straight face. You can't know football. It's not going to happen. I mean, anything can happen, but I'm just talking about more like, or I will say that if you think it's going to happen, please bet me. Call in right now. Make you some money. Because they're not going to bet because they don't believe it. So, see, when you bet, you believe it.
Mr. Campbell, let me say this. You guys have had a tough offseason, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. You guys lost Willie, right? You went through the whole situation with getting Colzie hired, which was a debacle in my opinion. You had the $237 million gift. That
had nothing to do with the football team.
No.
Nothing to do with the football team.
Hold on. You guys have lost in just a few months. You lost your president, right? You lost and probably the person who put this winning all together, because before her, there was no SWAC championship. You lost your AD.
Don't you see? You know what? You know what?
You
Now,
lost.
see, Coach.
You lost.
You mean? Hey, you mean the one with sleeping with the rings on?
Sleeping with the rings. Not one of those rings that she earned, Coach. Didn't hire not one of the coaches that even got the rings.
See,
come on, man.
Who orchestrated the celebration championship season? Because before her, no other AD was able to get it done until she arrived on the scene. Now, you guys have lost her, and Coach. Let me say this. At this game in Atlanta, after you guys win, will you guys be able to exhale and then truly celebrate that victory?
Okay, well, see, let's clear this up. See, this goes back, and I'm gonna say this to the outside. You all keep thinking that we haven't celebrated. It's y'all that keep saying that. It's y'all that keep saying that. Oh, we in shambles. And I talk to people from FAMU every day, and we just fine. I got a big old smile on my face. I have celebrated. We are the champions. There's only one other school in the SWAC that's won the Celebration Bowl. That's Grambling, which I actually sponsored. So I've been around 2 championship programs. Nobody else in the SWAC can say that as in the Celebration Bowl era. So why would you think that we're sitting up here huffing and puffing when we actually won the damn thing? That's y'all that's thinking that we sweating. Coach, we don't sweat, Coach. We don't sweat.
I got you. Well, look, how many days we away, Coach?
What is this?
4 days away.
4 days away, Coach.
And
4 days away.
Hopefully, if we can get Odums on the show between now and then. Right now, I'll fly out. I'll be in Atlanta at 1:45. We got to pick up those media passes the day of the game. So we definitely got to talk some. And we're getting up in the suite, right, Coach?
Absolutely. Got it locked and loaded.
Yeah. So we be ready, man.
There'll be a press suite as well up there.
Yeah,
and,
we go. It is. Coach, it's food, everything. Yeah. You running with me, big dog.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, hey, we got one call. Let's get it out the way.
All right.
So we can wrap it up. Caller, you're live on HBCU Coaches Corner. What's your name and where you calling from?
This Coach Pep.
Hey, how you doing, Coach Pep?
I got a question for you. I got a question for the panel.
Mm-hmm.
I picked Gremlin over there in the West because they have better coaches. They have 3 coaches that done been head coaches, and I noticed you picked Alabama State over Florida A&M Rocky, and I noticed you, Mr. Campbell, picked peer review over Alcorn.
I did.
I got a question to ask both of y'all. If Mickey Joseph was at Florida A&M, how would you pick Florida A&M then, Rocky? If Mickey Joseph was at Alcorn, would you pick peer review over Alcorn?
Well, here's what I say. You take all those coaches over there. I'm gonna ask you, Coach Pep. Has any of those coaches, as a head coach, won a championship on any level?
Mickey won the national championship at LSU.
No. Oh, no. As a head coach is what I asked. As a head coach, has any of those coaches won a championship on any level?
He won at Langston.
Yeah, he didn't win the championship, but he did win at Langston.
He had a championship at Langston.
Nope. I'll have to take your word. Our fact checker disagrees, but we'll follow up on that. Here's my thing, Coach Pep. Here's my thing, Coach Pep. For me, right, Mickey Joseph is a great recruiter. That's what's been proven time and time again. He's a tremendous recruiter. However, if you are a winning head coach, right, then you have to win as a head coach. I can't give you that title on hope or what I think. That's what it is. So he's coming after a coach that was fired, coach. A coach that was fired who supposedly had talent. He had a mass exodus of players from his program.
He got the best quarterback in the SWAC, and he got the best wide receiver in the SWAC because I sent him over
there. Hey, coach. Hey, see, that's that beans and rice theory. Because they eat jambalaya every Thursday. They supposed to be the best team in the SWAC, huh? Is that what it is, coach? Because I'm telling you, coach. There is no tangible reason why you can pick Grambling over Alcorn or Prairie View.
Rocky, let me say this. But Coach Pep, you said they got the best quarterback and the best receiver, but what about the other 9 players? It's not other players on that field too, coach. And that's where the problem comes in with Grambling. I like Grambling this year. I think they're going to be better. But overall talent, and the reason why I picked Prairie View, first of all, I picked Prairie View because of the way the schedule lays out for them. I believe the schedule lays out for them to win the West. That's why I picked them. And then for Grambling, I'm like Rocky. I think there's a learning curve that Coach Joseph, and he's going to have to get his recruits. I think Grambling's going to be back. I think Grambling's going to be back with the G for real. But Coach, like I said, it's another 9 players on that, and I think there are other teams that overall have a better offense than Grambling. So that's the reason why I wouldn't take Grambling.
And this is the last thing I'm going to say, Coach Pep. I know Coach Dooley has won championships as an offensive coordinator, but I can't unsee what I seen the 3 years I seen him coach offense. I can't unsee that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe he'll get it right this time, but I can't see what I've seen.
Offensive coordinator for Alcorn? You looked at the offensive coordinator for Alcorn. He is 0-22 as a head coach.
Who is that? Who is it? Who is it?
Fact check that.
No. You might got a point, but here's what I will say. You have Cedric Thomas on that staff who kept continuity. They clearly had a plan at Alcorn because on the National Signing Day, they had 25 early signees. You understand what I'm saying? Like there was kind of while Grambling was losing 20 players, Alcorn was signing 20 players. I think that makes a big difference.
But I can see you picking Alcorn to win the West because they had the best team in the SWAC last year. But the defensive coordinator lost the game to Texas Southern. And they made him their head coach. And if Florida A&M would have played Alcorn last year, we would have been crowning a new championship.
Woo! Coach Pep coming in hot. Yeah, Coach, you feeling really good now, boy. You right here coming in hot on the Coach's Corner.
Hey, Coach Pep, you on them Louisiana vitamins, ain't you?
No, I don't take one medicine. That's my high blood pressure medicine.
Hey, what about that? What about that rum or that brandy?
Hey, that guy's name was Coach Gales.
Coach Gale.
Coach Gales. He was at Lincoln University.
0-22
in Jefferson City.
Okay.
Lincoln has never won, and he's part of the North Carolina trio. Morehouse. I'm sorry. North Carolina Central. Yeah. He came from that north side. got North Carolina Central's tree under Jerry Mack. Yeah, I know this guy. Matter of fact, my buddy took his place at Lincoln University.
My biggest deal with Prairie View was at the time I was evaluating the team, no one knew who their quarterback was going to be. And last I checked, you can't field a team without a quarterback. Now, if that situation has been improved for Prairie View, with a guy who has some experience, some game film, if that's the case, then so be it. But up to this point, I have no idea. Still, I interviewed the Coach Pep, and the only thing only thing Bubba McDowell did when I asked him about the quarterback was grin and smile. I hope that's a good thing. You understand? He didn't complain. He didn't cry. He didn't fret. He just smiled and say, "You'll find out at the Labor Day class."
Yeah.
So
I graduated from Alcorn, but I'm picking Grambling to win the West, and I'm picking Jackson State to win the East.
Okay, hey, those are good picks. I figure Jackson State will be up there. I just think, again, somebody said it here earlier, Alabama State was a quarterback away. Now I believe they had the best quarterback in the SWAC, and so I think Alabama State is poised to win the championship. But we'll see, Coach Pep. Thank you for calling in, Coach. It's always good talking to you. Coach, it's time for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, just one thing. I think the person that says that, and I think that's Ezra Kelly, which I believe was their outstanding running back down there in Alabama State. I think that young man was outstanding and an outstanding student. So Kelly, if you're the kid that I'm talking about, I'm gonna give you your respect, but you still drinking that Alabama State liquor down there to say that. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. But we'll see. But I think if that's the young man who I think is the running back, the former running back of Alabama State, that's an outstanding young man. We're glad that you're watching the show. All right, go ahead, Rocky.
The only thing I was gonna say, Coach, we had a great show once again, and we did not keep it under 2 hours. So we on a streak, Coach. We on a streak, and so I hope you guys have eaten. I hope you guys or get a chance to we not too far past your bedtime, keeping you. But with no further ado, Campbell, if you don't have anything else, we can let Coach have final last word.
Let me just say one thing.
Okay.
I'm excited that football is back. I want you guys to join us every Tuesday to hear the best HBCU sports talk with Coach Johnny Cole. I'm excited to be here, and I'm just going to be a fan. But I am going to bring the facts. I'm the facts fan, so I just want to let you guys know. So if you come in this chat, make sure you come in with your facts. So, Coach, I just wanted to say that, and I appreciate you allowing me on for this ride. I'm super excited.
Hey, thanks, SWAC fan 100, man. That guy is really a supporter.
Man, that's love right there. That's love.
That's big love, and we thank you, man. And hopefully, maybe we can catch you down the line and do something with you. But hey, Coach, man, the DNC National Convention is on right now. Things are looking great. Unfortunately, I had a mishap in my family, but we're circling the wagons, and everything is gonna be okay. So I'm kind of down, and I feel myself at the end of the rope. So like I tell you, I'm gonna hold on tight, because ain't nobody bad like you. Thank you for watching the show. See you next time.